Hey again. Okay, it's still Friday, October 9th, 2015. Still at the garage. We can get sick of it yet. Being productive. In our last video, you saw we cured our shifting ailment in our 2000 Expedition. Very simple repair, and I'll be honest with you, if that takes you any more than about 4 or 5 minutes to fix, you're fired. Okay? All right. So now we're going to take a look at the odometer. It was an electronic display in these vehicles that sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off, sometimes it flickers, sometimes it's like half light intensity. Kind of annoying. And so anyways, should be a fairly simple repair on that too, but there is some disassembly involved. We do have to remove the instrument cluster for the car. So that does, well, truck rather. But anyways, that does add a few little interesting things. So let's take a quick look here. I'm not going to walk you through all the boring parts of this. I don't want this video to be very long. Well, any longer it has to be. Okay, so we're back in. So here we are. So let's see. Last I tried, we had no reading. And we still don't. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it goes. See? Popped on, popped off. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at. Okay. So, what we need to do to repair this is we need to take this panel off, which basically just you wiggle it around a little bit and it essentially unsnaps. It's just in with little plastic clips, like 4 of them. We'll take that off. We'll take our light switch out. We'll take this bezel here around the radio. We'll take this loose and let it hang down. And that will expose some screws that are in behind it, and we'll take a look at those when I get these panels off. Okay, so back a couple minutes later, and we've popped this panel loose. You don't have to take it off. All you have to do is just, loosen it down. And in a lot of ways, you probably don't even really need to take it off, but I like to be able to get back here, loosen it, and it just comes right off. This panel here pops right off. Okay, I'm going to caution everybody, this stuff is plastic, and it is held in, with little plastic tabs. Don't get really aggressive with it, because stuff will break, and then you'll be very unhappy. We took our light switch out, and I think so. We got up in here. There's a little. These are a couple tools I have in my hand. These are the way that I pop off interior dash panels in plastic. I got these little plastic little knife things. They work great. You can get them at your local Harbor Freight for just a few bucks and have a pretty good assortment of them, and they're well worth it. But anyways, so now I got to screw up in here where my finger is. There's a little hole up in there I got to take out. Okay, I got to screw here. There's 2 screws in here. There's 3 screws along the top right here. A couple screws here, a couple screws here. You can see a couple screws here, a couple screws here. Take those screws out, and then I should be able to remove this bezel here, which surrounds the cluster. So I'm going to take those screws out with my, I believe it's a 9/32 socket, and I'll be back. Okay, we're going right along. We got our bezel off. We've exposed everything. One thing I'll point out here, you notice that my lights are still on and everything like that. I've got that on because I like to have set the parking brake, set a chock on the wheel, and put the transmission down there. It's easier to get everything past and tilt the steering wheel down. A couple things. This screw right here that I mentioned before doesn't have to come out. That one right there does not have to come out. And this one up in this little hole here does not have to come out. I was a little overzealous on those. So those can stay in. You don't have to do that. Now, you notice, like I said, the lights are on and everything like that. Probably the correct way, you guys decide what's correct for you, to do this is disconnect the battery first. I'll be honest with you, I worked flat rate for years and years and years. I just got to the point where I hardly ever disconnected the battery. I was just very, very careful with what I did whenever I did it, and so forth. But you guys decide and you do what you want to do. So like I say, disconnecting the battery is probably the correct thing to do. So I guess this is another, just don't do as I do. So anyways, what we got now is we got one more screw. We got a screw down here. We got a screw up here. We got a screw in here and one down there, down in there. So we got 4 screws. We'll take that out. Our instrument cluster will come loose, and there should be 2 wire connectors on the back of it to unhook. Okay, one thing that I did forget to talk about was you have to release this. This has to actually come out of your cluster. Very simple. It snaps up in there. It's only plastic. Don't get too carried away with it. But what you do, and I hope I can pick it on either side, there's a little thing right here that snaps it in. You just squeeze those in on both sides. Okay? One over here. Yeah. And this slides right down out of your cluster. And then you can just take it and kind of put it down out of your way. Okay, so now our cluster is loose. We took our 4 screws out. I'm going to shut it down. So now I don't want any power to it. Shut that thing off. And what we'll do is we'll roll it up like this. And I don't know how well you can see, but there's one wiring connection up underneath that has a little tab at the top of it. You just push down and that slides out. And there's one over on the other side that basically you can do the same thing if you're having a good day with one hand. Okay, let's see, maybe I can set you right here. Let's set you right here, then I can actually push it. Okay, I think we're doing something now. Okay, our second one is unhooked. Okay, and now we can just take our cluster out. Okay, here's our cluster. We got it out. Let's go to the bench. Okay, so here's our cluster. Here's the back side of it. Where we're going is right in here. This is what we want. So we need to take this cover off here on the back, and there's these little gold screws. There's one there, another one there. Where's the next one? Right down in there. There. I think they're like T15, something like that. Little small Torx bits. So we're going to take those off. I'm going to try to, I guess, prop you guys up here somehow for a sec. Let's see how we can do this. We'll try to get something for you. That's not so bad. Yeah, we can deal with that, I guess. Okay, next thing to do, keep in mind that you are on your bezel, so try to put it on a soft surface. Okay, this is also the optimum time to, when we get all done with this, do a little bit extra and take that instrument cluster glass off and do a little cleaning inside. Usually like around your speedometer and so forth, it's like, dusty and there's stuff laying in there, and usually the little bezel glass is, well, it's plastic, but is, not clean. So now's the time to do all that if that kind of thing bothers you. Okay. So far so good. Take all those little screws out. Like I said, this particular repair right here, I mean, I don't know exact prices, but if you were to take this into your local Ford store to have this fixed, I can't imagine that they wouldn't just, put a replacement cluster in, and probably you'd end up either, or taking yours out and sending it away, and you'd end up paying hundreds of dollars. So Hopefully this can save somebody a little bit of something. Okay, we get our screws out. And this little deal here, we'll just lift off. Okay. Now we've got our circuit board. Okay. The problem is the connections right on the other side here, I'm thinking. So this guy essentially just pulls up. Now you got to be careful, because what holds this in are these little deals here. Okay. And what it is, that's gauges on the other side. And there's pins that go in there. So when you pull this up, you're actually pulling it off the gauge pins. So just be very careful. Pull it straight up, and you can lay it over. All right, now I'm going to turn this around and lay it just like that. Okay? Now, here's the question. What can you guys see? Alright. Oh, okay. Not too bad. So this is what we got going on. This is what happens to these as a rule. And I gotta look and see if I'm right. Hopefully this will pick this up. Okay, so here's our little cable, and this actually goes into our odometer. Usually, I say usually because, you know, this little guy right here has got a little crack around it. And what it is it moves a little bit and it makes and breaks a connection. Now these here you got to look at, but usually it's this one. But I have seen it be this one, and this one as well. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the particular ones I ran into. Yeah, I won't focus that close, I don't think. Anyways. So I'm going to take a look at this. I'm going to get my magnifying glass out. And I'm going to take a look. And what it is, you get your magnifier and look around here, and you'll see where the pin comes through. And there's solder at the base of it. And you'll actually see a little crack line around the pin where the solder has separated from the pin, and that's your loose connection. So I'm going to take a look at that, and I'll be right back. Let's see what I can find. I can't really zoom in, and like I say, and I gotta get better eyes, anyways. Okay, well, I got ultra spectacular viewers, and I got looking in there, lit it up. To be honest with you, I couldn't see any one that looked different to another to me. So what I've done is I went through with my soldering iron, and I just went through and I just touched every pin with a little more solder. You got to be very careful. You don't want to overheat your board when you do that. So I just did them all, because like I say, it didn't look any different to me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop this back together. I'm going to clean the glass on the other side, and pop it back in the truck with just plug it back in, and let's see how we did. Okay. Oops. All right. Got our custer back in. I just snapped our shift indicator back up into there. Plugged in our 2 wiring harness. I didn't put any screws or anything in it yet. But moment of truth. Remember, when we did take this apart, we did not have an odometer. Let's cross our fingers and see how we did. Hey! Oh, hey, there it is. All right. We have numbers. Success. Now, so far anyways, we'll give it a few days to see how it is, because it did come on, go off, but it was not working when we took it apart. So I'm going to claim a success. So anyways, you got a pretty good glimpse of that. See what that is, and we'll move on. I guess we'll just put the rest of the stuff back together. It's pretty self-explanatory. Basically just snapping plastic back together. Biggest thing that I'll say, oh, Okay. The biggest thing that I'll say is just be very, very careful working all this stuff. It is plastic. And when you do solder on your circuit board, be very, very mindful of what you're doing. If you're not, really comfortable with soldering or anything like that, I would recommend taking it to somebody who is, because the pins are very small, they're very delicate, and you don't want to overheat the board, and you don't want to get too carried away with the solder. Just a little bit. So do it within whatever your comfort zone is. But anyways, there it is. That's my repair for fixing the Expedition odometer. In the last video we fixed the shifter. Oh man, this is going to be like a brand new truck now. I'm probably just going to have to go out tonight and ride around. Anyways, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. We may be up to a couple more things this weekend. If we are, we'll pull out the camera and shoot some video for you guys to watch. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you liked it, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. I don't care. And, as always, feel free to subscribe. Okay, everybody, take it easy. Till next time, see ya.